What's going on, everybody? This is Brandon down here at Snake River Fly. We've got a new pattern here today. Not necessarily reinventing the wheel by any means, but just a new scud here that we've been playing around with and having some serious success with. And with the colder weather on the way, definitely have a lot of scuds moving around in our reservoirs, tailwaters, anywhere where these guys are going to go. They're definitely going to be moving around, and fish are going to really be targeting in on those. Like I was saying, we're not really, revolutionizing the scud by any means in terms of the platform. It's just utilizing some new materials here. They're going to make this guy kind of come to life a little bit more, and just have a little more detail to that. And so I guess the main purpose here is we're highlighting some new materials. We have a new leech lace in our Scud series is what we're calling it. It's kind of got a little bit spongier core, longer, thicker, softer fibers that are easy to pick out and get these legs. That's not to say that we can't use this for our balance leeches, any other kind of leech pattern, streamers, stuff like that, but it really shines in these scud patterns here. We have it in 4 different colors. They are all tri-colored, so you can get some really cool, color schemes. You can do all solid, but I mean, like this one here, we're calling pinks. It's got a lot of oranges, pinks in there. We have the maroons, some grays, deeper purples. This is the tans. And then our oranges here. All really great scud colors, but also some good leech colors too if you wanted to get into that. The other material that we're showcasing here is the back that we're using. Instead of like the latex kind, this is our new scud skin. Kind of has a snake skin looking appearance, looks like scales, also has some natural segmentation that's already made into the material that gives you some really cool effects, as you can see on this guy that I have tied up. Especially when you add that UV. So we're going to jump right into this here. So pop this guy out. We're going to be using a heavy scud hook, number 10, just for video purposes and for some of the the bigger scuds that we have around here. 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, whatever your flavor, it all works. So we got that guy popped in the vise there. We're going to be using a 6/0 Semperfly waxed here in pink. You can switch that up to oranges. I like hot spots in my bugs, so that's why I'm using it. But you can either match it to the color you're using as well. So we're going to start that thread and go about halfway up. One thing we are going to do, scuds are, tend to be a side swimmer. And so a lot of times the profile that they're giving these trout is that kind of, I guess, more or less flat, or if they're looking up at them, you're getting a lot of profile. So we're going to take some 0.25 lead here and add it to the side of the shank. And we're going to leave just a little bit of gap here right up here by the eye so we can tie that in and not have a ton of bulk. And we're going to bring that down to, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way, right where it starts to bend. We're just going to put some pressure on our thread, helicopter that off, and then bring the remaining thread down. So this is also going to add a little bit more profile, taper to our scud as well. Okay, so once we got that tied in, we're going to take that scud skin, and just like any scud back, going to tie it in the back here, just catching the end, wrapping that down the shank of the hook. Okay, so now that we've got that scud skin tied in here in the back, we're going to go ahead and tie in our new leech lace in that scud series. As you can see on this one that I tied here, I got a little bit of orange, kind of pink hot spot in the back, and that's all based off of where I trim out of this stuff. If I want to two-tone it, just have a little bit, one solid color. So in this one, we're going to do similar to what we did on that last guy. So we're going to pull this stuff out. You can see we're going to trim out this orange. We can save that chunk for another time. And then come in and trim out the colors that we want off here. And so you can see I got a little bit of orange here in the back. Kind of comes up into this lighter tan color. And so we're going to come in, tie that in right at the base there. Get it secured down, and then bring that thread all the way up to the eye and let her hang. This stuff here, I'm not going to pick it out as I go, I kind of want it to lay flat at this point, just to make it a little easier as we wrap that scud skin over the back. And then we can pick it out later. And we're just going to palmer that up. Going to do some overlapping wraps here throughout the middle to build up some of that taper. Keeping pretty good tension, and then bringing it down to the eye. Coming in and catching it with a couple wraps behind and in front. Can then trim that out. I'm just going to take my fingers and preen any of those fibers down, trim out any of the really long ones that I don't want. Take that scud skin over the back like so. And I'm going to give it a loose wrap here to start. I'm going to kind of move the vise towards me so I can see the top of it. I'm going to pull some tension, not a ton, and kind of wiggle the front end of this here to kind of position it where I want, then put some tension on it. Give it another wrap once it's set. Pull that stuff back. Give it a couple wraps in front now. Then we can come in, trim that stuff out. We're going to bring the whip finish in now. Give that a few to clean up that head, also making another hot spot up there on the front. And then trimming out our thread here. One of the last steps, come in with one of your picks, come underneath, give it a good brush out, get that material to really lay down. And what I'll do is I'll pull it all down and go right below the point of the hook, cut it, and that's about the length of legs that I want. And so, okay, now we're going to come in here with a little bit of UV resin. I just ran out of my thick, so I'm going to a little bit of knot sense here just to get the job done. And I like using the thick or the or thin, something that's got a little bit thicker viscosity. I'm going to come in and get that bubble out here first. Come in and put a pretty generous dab on the top. And then grab my handy dandy toothpick here, or your bodkin, and just spread that out evenly over the top there, coating that all that scud back. Okay, once we kind of got that all coated and nice where we want it, we're going to come back in with a little bit more, just on the front end here to build up a little bit more taper. A little more translucency all the way up to the eye. Come back in with our toothpick, manipulate that kind of where you want it. When you're happy with it, come in with the torch and give it a cure. Once that's cured up all the way, these resins or any of your thicks generally have some tack to them. You can come in with I'll have like a little cup of alcohol, boom, wipe it over the top. That's going to take away that tack. Or you can come in with like a Loon, for instance, their Flow, Bone Dry from Solares, or whatever tack-free resin that you want to use. But once you get that final step done, you got that sweet profile there, that scud, great looking legs there on the bottom from that new leech lace. They're really soft. They get all gummed up and kind of chewy looking when this fly gets wet, so super realistic. The coolest part though is going to be how that scud skin reacts with that material underneath, and when you add the resin, the realism that you get with the segmentation and that modeling that you have in a lot of your natural insects. So both these materials are now live on our website. You can find all 4 colors of that, the new scud skin and those hooks there. You can find this video on the website as well, and our YouTube channel. And so tie a few of these up, go out, whack some fish on the lakes, and get them good. Thanks for watching.